they showed a new trailer for Black Myth Wukong, and it gave it a release date, but it was CG, I believe. So there wasn't really much to see from the gameplay. But then it was revealed after that, oh, it's shipping day one on PlayStation 5 and PC. And then they put up a thing basically saying, yeah, it's still coming to Xbox. Actually, I got the exact quote here. It says, PC and PS5 users can enjoy the full game starting August 20th, 2024. We are currently optimizing the Xbox Series X/X version, which, by the way, if I can just comment, when they brought it, they showed Monster Hunter, the new Monster Hunter game. They brought out one of the creators, and trying to say Xbox Series X and S in Japanese it is really difficult indeed. But anyway, so we're trying to optimize that version to meet our quality standards, so it won't release simultaneously with the other platforms. We apologize for the delay and aim to minimize the wait for Xbox users. We will announce the release date as soon as it meets our quality standards. So Alex, I'm kind of curious, when you hear a statement like that, what do you think? Like, how does that read to you? Like, what's going on here?
Well, I imagine the Xbox Series X version is just the PS5 version with a different API.
Yeah.
But the Series S version is memory constrained. They have the scalability options from UE5 that they are going to make expressly available on PC, of course. But getting within memory is probably the larger question. They can scale down Lumen to everything. And I think this is maybe like a Baldur's Gate 3 kind of thing, where they really want to have like a polished product out, at least out by a certain date. But to get the Xbox Series S version polished to a level where they feel actually comfortable releasing it expressly requires more working hours. So I think it's that. I think the Series X version is probably already fine, you know?
Reminds me of what you said earlier, Oliver, about Talos Principle 2 having a Series S specific option where, so you think it's Series S. I tend to agree. I think it's probably just requiring a little more time. There was, of course, people very quick to rush out and say, oh, the Sony must have money hatted the game and blah, 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 which I think is just hilarious and clearly incorrect. Like they would need to do that for this, but I think we got to take the developer at their word here. They want to ship on Xbox. They can't. That's the thing about a statement like this, though. They can't come out and single out just the Series S in a statement, right? And they can't just release on Series X either. Like, there's no technical reason why Series X version shouldn't be basically the same or better, or basically around similar as the PS5 version, just a different API, like you say, Alex. But as we know from other UE5 titles, there are concessions that need to be made for Series S, and it's usually in terms of memory requirements. So it does seem likely that that's what's going on here. And I mean, they were open about it, at least, right?
Well, yeah, with Baldur's Gate 3, they just came out and said it.
That's true. That's true. They did.
They just said, we can't ship split screen. So let us not ship split screen. We can ship a game. And they did. It shipped, I think, 2 or 3 months later than the PS5 code.
Yep.
But it did ship. Here, you're looking at a situation where on Series S, you do have some tools, I think, with UE5, even within the Lumen Lighting Path to get performance up. So, for instance, if they're using Lumen Reflections on PS5 and Series X, that's something that you can cut out. And that's something we've seen with a lot of games, like with RoboCop, with Hellblade 2 as well, that Lumen Reflections is just gone on Series S. And for the most part, it looks fine because, a lot of Lumen Reflections is just SSR anyway. Layer the SSR on. You don't get the fallback. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. GI, you can't really scale that unless you're going crazy with fill lights and have a big art team or something. Or you're dealing with a very limited title like Talos Principle. And then on the memory side of things, of course, that's probably going to be the biggest hurdle for any cross-platform title to try to get that up and running on Series S. So, yeah, I think you're looking at probably a variety of challenges, and probably they're looking at the Xbox version saying, hey, that's a smaller platform. We can afford to launch later on that platform.
Right.
PS5 can be the priority, and we can get out the Xbox version hopefully by like the end of the year, and hopefully in a good stead in Series S.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what you really want is a game to come out and be quality. I actually don't, as a PC player, waiting is just part of life. So, I think it's actually good that it comes out later instead of coming out with a broken Series S version, right?
This situation really is interesting, though, because the specific ways in which the Series S differs from Xbox Series X is what seems to be the biggest problem here, and it is down to the memory more often than not. And you know, I mean, if you're shipping on Switch, you're shipping on last generation machines, it's less of an issue, right? And we're often seeing Series S outperform the bigger consoles by targeting much lower resolutions, right?
We're also that happens,
yeah. We're also seeing some games though that are UE5 where they scale the settings way back. Tom is looking at one now, which is
yeah,
that one, yeah. It's like N64 mode engaged, pretty much. So I'm very curious how this shapes up, and I hope they show more of the game soon, because obviously earlier trailers were always kind of unstable frame rate wise, if I recall, or at least they were 30, but are they going to go for 60? Is it really going to be the coalition that gets
ambitious?
That gets to a solid
60 sounds really ambitious for this title.
I agree.
Yeah.
Given the level of detail they're going for, I feel like it's going to be difficult to hit. We'll see. Maybe on the PS5 Professional. One more thing about though that I got to say that instantly, I have to admit, it kind of turns me off to this game. And I'm still interested in it, but like they were like, yeah, we're putting out physical versions initially. That's just a code in a box. It will work. We'll worry about discs later. I'm going to come out right and say that behavior is bullshit. That is not acceptable behavior for multiple reasons. First of all, it's extremely wasteful, right? They're just trying to get sales from those discs. I get it, but like, you're just putting waste on the shelf. Basically, there is no actual product there to use, really, I would say. I think they should stick to digital only until they can actually ship a proper disc version. Anybody that cares about, most people that actually care about physical media, they don't want code in a box. And this isn't the type of game I think that would have, like, I can understand an argument for like, hey, you have a Switch game, it's kid oriented, you want to put it on shelves so the parents see it at the store. I get that. And that kind of works in that case, even though I'm still not fond of the practice. But a game like this, especially if they're planning to do that later, I don't like it. I don't know. I mean, I assume, what do you guys think? I mean, I know Alex is like, whatever, I don't care anyway.
I mean, but the last game I bought in stores was exactly that. I bought Measure 2033. It has a disc, and on the disc is Steam. You know, like, it's Oliver.
Yeah. I think if they want to ship something, a little tiny box with a little code in it, and mark it as a code,
cardboard
that's
box,
fine. But if it's shipping in a jewel case, everything else,
the normal plastic case,
it's just ridiculous. And even if they do label it, I just think that's a no-go for me. It's not right. And most of my games are digital these days, but certainly if I'm going into a store and I'm buying a disc, I at least expect there to be a disc inside. I want that physical game for my collection. Right. So, yeah, I think in this situation, it's just not a good outcome. And if they do want to ship a game like this, then certainly don't ship it in a jewel case. I think that's just misleading people, especially if you're just looking at that on the shelf. It's not the right outcome.
Agreed. I think they should wait. I hope they do a proper disc eventually, and if they do, hopefully it'll be like the Alan Wake situation where you basically get all the patches and updates on the disc.
Yeah. So I think there are good reasons to like not want to ship necessarily a disc on day one.
Sure, these days.
Maybe they're coming in really hot. I mean, they could be coming in really hot, right? Yeah. We're actually having that situation with another game, which is Star Wars Outlaws, where they say they're going to ship a disc, but you're going to need to connect it to the internet to update it to actually use it.
I hate that.
And practice. In that case, yeah, that's also a very bad practice. But in that case, they're basically saying, hey, we actually can't ship this game with the amount of time that we have, get it pressed to a gold master, right? At least they're being honest about it here. It's like, I don't know about this. I don't like either situation, obviously. Nope. But maybe they should, in that case, just delay the game by a couple weeks, ship it on disc, and have a better experience that way.
Didn't this happen with Jedi Survivor as well? Where I believe the disc version is useless. It basically needs to be patched to played.
Well, a lot of versions of that game are useless.
I mean, that game, this is another start. What a mess that was. But
another week of us banging on Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
It's a good game, but I love to beat that drum on it, man. It launched in a nasty state. It should have been delayed.
Yeah.